Good evening, everyone. I'm Dr. Basil Considine. I'm here from the ACU Online Writing Center, and today joined by a host of colleagues here. We're following up on our earlier webinar where we had our Assistant Director, Emmy Amarati, and our colleague, Christy Apostle, presenting about discussion board posts. And now my colleague, Sarah Tabuada, and I are going to talk to you about some of the things that you should definitely not do. But first, a quick recap of some of the things that we've been talking about before. Sarah, would you give them a quick meow as we move through these slides?
Meow, everybody.
That is to say, we want you to be welcome at the Online Writing Center, whether you're at the very beginning of your writing process or whether you have a full-on draft or paper that you're returning to. We'll work with you at any stage of your writing, and you can either make an email appointment for feedback where you sign up for a time, upload your paper with any special requests. We look at it, send you feedback within 24 hours, or a Zoom appointment where you get to talk with us in real time. Personally, I think the Zoom appointments are more fun and good for motivating yourself to get work done. But we have people with many different schedules, and what may work with you one week might be different the next. So no problem at all if you're switching back and forth between email and Zoom as your availability permits. But before we dive in, let's ask this question. Why does participating in an online discussion board matter? We pretty much every assignment that you have through ACU Online or ACU Dallas has an online discussion board. Why is that important? Well, it turns out that literature has shown that there are a lot of benefits from participating in the discussion, including it facilitates learning, encourages critical thinking, is a way for you to demonstrate your understanding of the material. It promotes engagement. When you're involved in a discussion with someone else, you're more likely to go check back and read through, especially if they're responding to you. It's a way to build community, supports knowledge sharing, including things that you didn't even know or expect that you would be interested in, and it encourages retention. We pay more attention to the things that we actually discuss with other people, and one of the ways to do that is through the online discussion board. So we have our presentation today, our time with you, divided into two parts today. Part one, we have two objectives: learning common errors to avoid when responding to discussion posts, and two, learning things to include when responding to discussion posts. And if you were attending our last webinar, you might see some of these things looking rather familiar. But Sarah, what are we going to talk about next?
What not to do? Do not, big fat, don't do this.
Oh, what? What should I not be doing, Sarah?
Well, something like, yes, I agree, or good post. I mean, that is positive, but it's not enough since usually there's a
Oh,
word count requirement.
well, I know how to meet that word count. I'm just going to take the first person who posts and I'm going to rework it a little bit and say it in my own way. That should get me full participation credit, right?
You wish.
Okay. Well, I know what I'll do. I will make it more accessible to people by using all the emojis that I can to really translate my colleagues' posts into the 21st century.
Yeah, please don't do that.
Okay, well, all right, so I did the reading a while ago, and so I'm just going to say at the end, see the assigned reading for this week. That'll take care of that cite and reference requirement, right?
Wrong.
But everyone has a copy of the syllabus. They can look the things up.
Yeah, but the point of discussion post is to kind of replicate in-class discussions.
Ah, well, I'm I don't know really what to write about, so it turns out that I'm actually really interested in lemurs. So I know this is a discussion post about Jesus in the New Testament. I think the 12 apostles, if they had pet lemurs, it would have been really cool with hanging around with the lemurs and Jesus. So I'm gonna go right on that for a little bit.
That's interesting, but not really related. So we do want to, stay on topic.
Okay, fine. Well, I'm just gonna start talking about the work that I did in the archives around the Dead Sea Scrolls. And this is a class about religion, so clearly everyone's done some reading and kept track of what's going on with that. So I'm just going to dive in, and anyone who doesn't know what I'm talking about can, well, get with the program.
Um, I will refer back to what Christy and Emmy talked about in their last webinar. Your classmates may not be as well versed on that as you, so some context would definitely help.
Look, I absolutely agree with you. They should all go to seminary and get theology degrees too. Then they can come back and take this class and we can have a great discussion without needing any of those pesky references because everyone will have read
Yeah,
it.
no, that's not quite what I meant.
Oh, okay, well, how about I I tell my classmates what I really think about their post? I think it's really an original idea that they thought that well, Jesus and the apostles might have collected bread from the community and he didn't really multiply the loaves and fishes thing. But I'm going to tell them that it's an original idea that just sucks. And then they will naturally see the error of their ways, and I'll have contributed positively to discussion by this.
No, just no.
Emmy, back me up here.
Emmy, back me up.
No, sorry, I'm with Sarah on this one.
What? Well, fine, but this next post is going to suck because I've got 30 seconds before it's due. So I'm just going to write some stuff really quick. Jesus and the lemurs went to see Pilate, and Pilate took the lemurs and crucified Jesus. I think that would make a much more entertaining and relatable gospel. So, yeah, post.
It would provide some good mental imagery for the reader, but that's not entirely the purpose of the discussion post.
Uh, okay. Let me go look at those instructions. They're kind of specific, and it's killing my vibe. I don't want to participate in this online discussion anymore. I had ideas,
Uh,
and they don't fit with these instructions.
well, you're responding to one of your classmates' posts, so what was something that stood out about their post?
Um, well, they seem to be trying to come up with a non-divine way to allow for the events in the gospel. So I guess if you're looking for something that would be more inclusive for atheists, but anyway, I think that we should move on to something else now. I'll come back next week when I have more time to do my posts. So, what are we going to talk about next?
What we actually do want to do when responding to our colleagues' posts.
Well, why don't we just start with that? You let me go on and on about Jesus and the 12 lemurs, and
Well, we wanted to start with what to avoid, and now we're gonna end on a high note of this is what you want to aim for.
okay. So, what should I be doing with this? Okay. Dear Jane, your argument about how it was a village by the Dead Sea. There was a fishing village, so they probably had access to fish. That actually did sound reasonable. I'm not convinced that they'll all have bread going around, but sure. Village of fishermen probably has some fish. I'll concede that point. Um, but I was wondering, uh, what kind of bread do you think they had? I actually have no idea what kind of bread they were eating back in the ancient world. And Emmy, I see
I
there's a
like
question in the chat. Can you answer that one, please?
Yeah.
I like that you pose a question for them to respond to.
Okay. Well, maybe I can write out my objections to uh, their claims here. And I actually have another author I found who agrees with me with the premise that they'd have lots of bread lying around in the in Judea or Galilee that would was mostly baked for immediate consumption. So I can go ahead and cite that in my counter post. Who? Right, the responses that answer the prompts first. Oh, how about I do that, and then I'll come back to the question about whether the loaves and fishes were better. All right. So
Mm,
how would I do this last one, Sarah? Should I just say I know a lot of stuff and call it a day?
please don't.
Okay. I have a degree in X. I've done research on these things. And so based on my experience, I believe blah. Better?
Yes, I'm liking this new vibe much more.
Okay, so you are telling me that I need to be polite and civil and keep notes on things. All right. And when should I start? Ideally, when should I be posting?
Definitely before the
Last
deadline
day?
because you wanna, the whole point is you're giving your classmates time to respond to your response because we're trying to create a conversation.
Okay. Well, I can just write everything up in Google Chrome and post it, right?
Mm, yes. You could copy
Okay.
paste. We're not too
I'm sure.
worried about formatting.
What if I'm using my handy voice to text feature on my phone? I can just go
I'm
ahead and
scared.
say the stuff and hit. So I should actually read through and do a spelling and grammar check. Okay. This is going to take additional time. All right. So in this part, we've looked at what you should avoid and what you should, by contrast, include when you're responding to discussion posts. So let's move on to our next portion here, part two. What are objectives, Sarah?
We are gonna, sorry. We're gonna look at what we wanted to actually look at, what to avoid, and what we're aiming for.
Okay. Well, I think that I know exactly what to do based on our discussion already. So let me start working on my great discussion point. And just let me know if I forgot any of the rules.
I will do. Oh, stop.
What? I'm
Oh, who
being
are you writing
specific.
to? Who are you writing to?
I'm responding to a discussion post and I'm drafting in Microsoft Word so I could use the spelling and grammar check. You suggested these things, so I should be good,
Yeah,
right?
but whose post are you responding to?
Okay.
Okay, so starting with you think her argument is terrible is a little bit harsh.
But it's specific.
Yeah, but it's harsh.
Okay.
Let's see. Hmm.
Better?
We're getting there, but what are your thoughts?
All right. So I'm trying to put these things into action. I've addressed the person I'm responding to. I've asked a question, stated my different idea. I have identified someone whose work is supporting my different idea. I've also given a specific example of why I personally also believe that this is unlikely. Is this better than when we were starting?
This is much better than where we started.
All
I
right. Well,
concur.
I've been told that we should finish with a nice summarization.
Yes.
This is good, right?
Oh my God. No, what are you doing?
Well, I've summarized my position. Too
Oh,
much?
we were doing so good.
Better?
Yes, yay! Ding 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 ding. You get a cookie.
Okay. So let me try and recap. Address the person you're responding to. Have
Mm-hmm.
a clear question, whether it's asking for more information or uh, something else. State the basis of why you're asking the question. If there's relevant evidence or authoritative source, to cite that clearly. If you're referring to personal experience and or professional experience in this area, to state that clearly and to be overall positive and promoting discussion. Is that fair?
Yes, nicely done.
All right, and I can't critique the other person based on the strength of their argument or however I perceive this.
Please don't.
No, don't do it. I'm not quite sure that that's related. If you need to tie in the point about the dog, please add enough detail so that it somehow ties to the other person's response and the prompt.
No, you don't.
Now that I fixed the spelling, I do.
Uh,
All right. So going back to our objectives here. So objective 1, learn from Basil's mistakes and follow Sarah's instructions. So if I was doing this outside of a webinar and I wanted to get some feedback on my discussion posts, how could I go about doing that?
you could make
Should
an
I just
email
send an
appointment.
email directly? So I can just send this directly via email to onlinewritingcenter@acu.edu?
No, you'd want to make an appointment. If you have a draft of your discussion post, you could do an email appointment and have someone look over it. Or if, like we did in this webinar, you're working on it, you can make a Zoom appointment and kind of brainstorm with your tutor to make sure you're going the right direction.
That sounds like a great idea. How do I know who has a Zoom appointment available?
So people with a Zoom appointment available, it says it next to their name on the schedule.
Would this require that I do any reading? I
Well,
suppose I can find a Zoom appointment in there somewhere.
you can also specify when you are making or searching for an appointment, you can say that you want Zoom and
Oh,
it'll only show you Zoom.
what if I want Spanish?
Yeah, you can search for that too.
Oh, hey. All right. Well, I think I'm all set here. I'm ready to go post discussion boards with this new guidance. Are you sure I shouldn't tell people how much I think their argument sucks?
Yes, I am 100% positive.
Okay, so maybe we should go over these suggestions about what I should not do, because clearly my initial instincts were not in the right direction. So what should I not do, Emmy?
Please do not directly critique another poster, Basil.
Okay. Anything else I should be wary of?
Uh, avoid informal language, emojis, especially obnoxious emojis, slang or text speak. Avoid sarcasm, and please don't be rude or dismissive to the other poster. Oh, this
Okay, well,
next one's a great one.
I found a New York Times editorial that says exactly what I need. So I'm just going to paste it here so that they can read it, and that'll set them straight.
Were you planning on citing that editorial or just kind of slapping it into your post?
Citing sounds like work. Is that important?
It is. You definitely need to provide some attribution, not only because that keeps you from plagiarizing, but because it adds credibility to your argument. Like you did in your good example when you brought in this scholar said, hey, maybe there's another perspective we need to look at. And you use that person's scholarly credibility to support your perspective.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Okay. Well,
just think about it.
I, I'm thinking about what you said about supporting your arguments. And so I've noticed that Word has this wonderful thesaurus feature built in. And I found a word that I think it sounds really neat. Pontificated.
Is it Schnauzer?
No, don't have any synonyms for that except
Uh,
Dachshund, which I
okay.
don't think is the same
I
thing.
don't think that's the same thing either. Which brings just up your point that the words and thesauruses do not always match the exact meaning that you're looking for.
Hmm.
Mm. You might want to look up pontificate in the dictionary before you use it in your post to make sure it says
So
exactly what you're trying to say.
well, according to this dictionary here, it says to act like the Pope, which is not exactly what I had in mind.
No.
All right. Well, I think that I think I'm getting an idea of what to do. But Sarah, can you set me straight about what the things I'm supposed to remember to do every time are?
You want to critique the argument, not your classmate, but their argument. And here's the really super important part. You want to do it respectfully.
Okay.
Christy
I think
actually
I can do
made a
that.
really great point in our last webinar. If you're critiquing someone, don't say you. Don't say you did
Mm-hmm.
this. If you're praising someone, you can say you because it's like, look at how awesome you did. But if I'm giving you a critique, just avoid that word. The sentence was confusing, not you're confusing. But man, you had the best
Mm-hmm.
idea I've ever seen. Say you in that respect or that context.
Okay. I think I can get on board with that. What is this lead in with a topic sentence thing? What's a topic sentence?
That introduces what you're going to talk about. So if you liked their post, you might start with something along the lines of, Dear Jane, I really liked how you pointed out blah, 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 blah.
Okay. Now this next one is saying I'm supposed to be careful about when I'm quoting and citing versus summarizing. Um, it, why can't I just use that whole New York Times editorial? It is, after all, the New York Times.
Because there was probably something in that article specifically that you liked, and so that's what you want to point out.
Ah, well, I can do that. All right. How much time should I budget for these discussion posts? 5 minutes sound about right? Maybe 5 minutes before midnight when it's due? The adrenaline will make me write fast.
I think it's due at
Um,
11:59, so that would only give you 4 minutes.
Yikes, that's a little bit tight.
Yeah.
I'll
no,
I'll set an
definitely,
alarm for
definitely
earlier.
more time than that.
Okay. And what is this analyze and synthesize thing? I see these words a lot in syllabi. If I'm trying to learn more about them, is there a place I should go?
Well, you could definitely make an appointment with a writing tutor, but when you're analyzing, that is what I do is I kind of annotate the post.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm reading someone's response, I'm making little notes of, ooh, I really liked this. And then I say why, kind of off to the side, just like you would if you're annotating an article. And then I can take all my comments and use those for my response. But if you want to
Mm-hmm.
learn more about analysis and synthesis, we have a ton of webinars, as you were just showing, that students have available to check out.
Sounds good. Well, if I have any more questions, I guess I should just email the Online Writing Center.
That's definitely an option.
I would vote for that.
Okay, and to schedule an appointment, I see I can go to my.acu.edu and select Online Writing Center under groups and just follow the instructions in the video to make an appointment. Awesome.
Yep.
When do I need to upload that file? Do I have to upload the file when I'm making the appointment?
You can, but you can make the appointment up to 2 weeks ahead. So you can kind of make the appointment as a placeholder so that you have it, and then just upload what you want reviewed before the time of your appointment. And all appointments are in Central Time, which is important to
Mhm.
remember since a lot of our students are all over the place. So
And I see this webinar schedule here has Central Time marked on that.
yep.
And that if I scroll down here, using the link that's shared in the chat, that I can find all these recordings of the past webinars, including this handy dandy tab guide to go see things. I'm taking one of those biblical studies courses, and I want to look to see, oh, Bible 101, Bible 102, 103. I can see all those tie-ins sorted by the course code and number. Nice. All right, I see we have a couple more resources here, including the APA template and a YouTube playlist. Great. Well, Emmy, Sarah, thank you for joining me and setting me straight. I will try not to start any impolite arguments online on the discussion board.
We don't want any fracasses on the discussion board.
Oh, thank you for the note.
Basil
I
had a
actually didn't notice
birthday
the
over
slide
the
earlier.
weekend.
Happy birthday. Or
Happy
Thank
happy late
you.
birthday.